Hello and welcome to the next zip code. Today I'd like to go over a rifle that I have had for about a year and a half and not done a review on it or even shot it on camera. This is my truck gun. This is a Tikka CTR in 6.5 Creedmoor. I'd like to go over what I like, what I dislike about this gun, and what I eventually hope to do with it. This gun is basically, as you see it, from the factory, without, of course, the bipod, the scope, and the muzzle brake. Factory as it comes, the stock, plastic, flimsy feeling stock is what you get. Does that make an inaccurate weapon? No, it does not. Tikka has a reputation for accuracy, and I have now 3 Tikkas, and each one performs incredibly well. So let me start with the trigger on this gun. Now, coming from the factory, Tikka has a great trigger. There's other companies that have much worse factory triggers than what Tikka ships out. However, with everything good, you can make it better usually. So what I did was I bought a spring off of eBay. There's a gentleman on there who makes springs for the triggers on Tikkas. Switch it out with a factory spring. You go from basically a 2.5 pound trigger down to a 1.5 pound trigger. Never had any issues with it. Works great. Feels wonderful. So, like I said, it's not expensive, $10, and it takes maybe 5 minutes to switch it out. Money well spent as far as I'm concerned. Tikka's bolts are known throughout the shooting community as one of the smoothest glides you will get, and this does not. This is no different. I mean, you can't feel it, and I know I can't hardly show it, but let me tell you, that is smooth. Now, Tikka comes with a threaded muzzle, and I have set on the front of this a Area 419 Hellfire brake. You can put anything that will attach to a 5/8 by 24 thread pitch on the front because it comes already pre-threaded. So suppressors, you name it, if it comes in that thread pitch and you can get it, you can put it on there. The barrel itself, this is a 24-inch variation. You can get the 20-inch variation. I went for the 24 because I wanted the most speed I could out of this barrel. And that is one thing that I was disappointed in. This ammunition, 140 grain match ammunition from Hornady, is cited at being able to go 2,710 feet per second with out of a gun. Now, I figured it'd be a little slower than that because I imagine they probably tested this with a 26-inch barrel. And I've been told by some that shoot for Hornady that they actually test it with 28-inch barrels. Still, even though that would give a little bit extra speed, I was quite surprised that this gun will shoot the ammunition at only 2,583 feet per second. To me, that is unbelievably slow for this cartridge. I have a 308 that I'm pushing in the same configuration basically with a factory 20-inch barrel, and I am doing custom hand loads with that, and I'm pushing 175 grain Match King at the same speed. So for factory ammunition cited at being able to go 2,700 feet per second, and it's only going 2,583, that was a real disappointment for me. Will I someday hand load for this gun? Probably, just because that's the nature of what I do. For now, I am just using factory ammunition. Everything else about the gun, sure, the stock is plastic, feels cheap. I will say this, I like a stock. A lot of my guns, if you watch my other videos, you will see that I have chassis on them. I actually do like the feel of a stock, as long as you have a nice vertical grip. With the Tikkas, I think it's the 3X now version of their stock configuration, they now put this little plastic piece in place that you get a more vertical feel and a more vertical grip, which I really like. So as far as the feel of this stock, I have no complaints about it. As far as accuracy goes, it's fine. Is the barrel completely free floated? Well, it comes up a ways, but by taking a piece of paper, which I don't have one close by to show you, it still touches well before it gets to the action. It is what it is. When you actually shoot this gun and see what it can do on paper, it kind of erases all the questions away of, is it accurate, is it not? To me, for the money, this gun is a good buy. Another thing that I kind of wishing, I guess you could say, that they would do something a little different is it comes with a 0 MOA rail on the top. I wish they would put a 20 MOA rail on that. Guys buying this gun are not using it to shoot 200 yards or 300-400 yards. Does the scope that I have on top of this have enough elevation adjustments to get to distance? Yes, I have shot this gun to 1,250 yards. It did fine, but here's the thing. With the bullets being so slow, at 1,253 yards that I was shooting, I could not keep a consistent group. 800 yards was fine, 1,000 yards was fine. It was doing something weird way out there, and I attribute that to the bullet just going too slow. The scope that I have on top of this, I thought, you know, for the rifle, I'll put a comparable scope that would go with something like this. This scope has gone on so many of my rifles. I've used it pretty well on everything except for my 338 Lapua at one time or another. This is the Vortex Viper PST. It's the 6x24x50. It has the MOA variation. It has been a real workhorse for me. This scope, I've used it to shoot out past 1,500 yards with my 243. It has run flawlessly. Some guys have had issues with these scopes. I have a lot of Vortex scopes. I have not had an issue with one of them. So yes, I do like this scope. This scope you can now purchase for actually less than $700 in some places. I think it's a great buy. So that's what I have riding on top of it. And I also have the side mount scope cam, which you put your cell phone in to be able to view what I'm seeing so I can video that. So I run that on a lot of my, and most all my videos now, because I want you to be able to see what I'm seeing when the shot breaks. So the bipod on the front is a Versapod bipod. I have this system for a lot of my less expensive guns. It just attaches to the sling swivel on the front, and you can switch it easily back and forth from one gun to the next. It is not the most rugged, it is not the easiest to adjust, but it does work. I use this system to shoot over 1,000 yards and hit a 2-liter with my 308. So it stabilizes it enough, and I'm happy with it for this type of a setup. If I was competing with it, whole nother story. So I think that goes over what this gun is to me, what I like about it, what I dislike about it, and the reason why I think that the barrel is not shooting the bullets fast is because I have heard from others that Tikka's barrels, although accurate, are slow. At some point, I plan to change out the barrel. Will I keep it in 6.5 Creedmoor? I may, just because it is the only 6.5 Creedmoor that I own at this point. I, however, love the 6.5x47 Lapua. I have one rifle at this time that is chambered in that, but I am in the process of having 2 more built that are chambered in the 6.5x47. You may think it's crazy that I would have an eventual 4th gun in 6.5x47. It consolidates everything for me if I choose to go that way and makes loading more simple because the components that I have feeds more guns. Other than that, that is what I think about this gun. Next stop will be showing you what it can do at distance. 600 yards, stay tuned. Before we get shooting, I wanted to go over a couple things that I did not discuss inside. One is that Tikka has their own magazine system. It's a 10-round magazine. I prefer the AICS mags, but these work pretty good. And if you ever wanted to change out your stock or to an actual stock or a chassis, you can always go with the AICS mags, having the stock inletted with it. The other thing is that Tikka has kind of a little bit better than a lightweight barrel. It's probably more of a medium, light medium contour barrel. It's a 1-in-8 twist stainless barrel. And the last thing is that the rings that I use for my scope is the Vortex precision rings. I use these rings on all my scopes, whether it's the 22 or to my 338 Lapua. Never had an issue with them, so I'm not going to change. But we're out here at 600 yards. I'm interested to see what this gun and ammunition will do at this distance, and let's get going. All we are going for is group size here, so you'll see that I have 3 little soda cans. If I end up hitting one, great. Right now I'm not going to try. The one to the left is actually covering up my dot, so I'm just going to aim at that one for group size. Alright, so there's 5 shots. Let's go see what that is. Okay, so I just got back from the target, and those 5 shots were right at 6 inches basically for a group size. These Tikkas are guaranteed from the factory with a 1 MOA guarantee for group size. Now that's with 3 shots. I just did it with the factory ammunition, 5 shots. So the potential is there for these Tikkas. All 3 that I own, they all are great shooting guns. One thing I will say is that if you've seen some of my other videos with my custom 6.5 by 47 Lapua, that gun is well over twice as much money as this one is. Actually, it's almost 3 times as much as this by the time I've got it all tricked out with everything I wanted. This gun, for the money, shoots great groups in field conditions. I can only imagine it would do better if it was in a bench vise or some kind of a bench rest like the bench rest shooters use. but for the gun, I'm really happy with it. Now, I'm gonna try to hit one of those little soda cans, and we'll see how that goes. If I get close, and I'll be happy, but I'm hoping I hit one, but we'll see here. I gotta do a little adjustment on my windage because it was just a little bit off there. There's a little breeze out there, so I'm gonna see if I can adjust for that just a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I believe I am still to the left. But elevation looks okay. I'm using a Vortex bubble level as well. I like them a lot. Ooh, so close. Believe it went in between the center one and the next to the right. Try that same hold. Boy, it's right there. Close, but not close enough with 5 shots. So I have 4 more shots. I'm gonna try for the cans again and see if I can't get it. I'm gonna crank up my power just a little bit more, and we will give it the best we can for the last remaining 4 shots. Would help to put a live round in the chamber. Now that one went high. The barrel may be getting kind of warm. That's the thing about these lighter contoured barrels is once they warm up, they do not always hold the best groups. Hitting steel, but well, that was it. Let's go up to the target, see what that was taking place up there. So here we are at the target. We did not hit any of the little soda cans. We came close, but nothing. One thing I'll say about this Tikka is that after 5 shots, it seems like the group size opens up when the barrel gets warm. Custom rifle barrels such as Hawk Hill or Krieger, Bartline, they hold together their groups for longer strings of fire. But does this Tikka stand up to their guarantee? Yes, it does. 600 yards, 6-inch group with factory ammunition, that's 1 MOA. So the Tikka does perform well, what its guarantee is, and I recommend it. Everything else about the gun is great, and with the right guy behind the trigger, you could do even better. Not to mention, if you had custom hand loads, I'll bet you could shrink that group in half. So hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll see you back here next time. So long.